Here we are, little Brianna. Brianna, I am your grandfather, James E. Taylor. I am 56 years old, and I want you to know that I am the patriarch of this clan. Yep, I started this clan to some extent. Me and your grandmother. Yep, a group. You have a comment on that, huh? I see. Well, I am fortunate, Brianna, because when we started this taping, you hadn't been born yet. See, they thought I was procrastinating, but I was really waiting for you to come along so that you could sit on my knee and we could have a little informal chat about who I am. Yes, I have something that the others did not have, and they gave their family history on videotape. Right? Right. Ah, yes, that's the girl. Now you're getting into the spirit of the dialogue. Yes. Ah. Now who? That our guy, and don't forget, cat. Well, Brianna, let's see, what can I tell you about James Taylor? He's 56 years old. He's Vice President of Program and Field Offices for the Chicago Urban League. He is the son of Gaynell and Joseph Taylor.
Where were you born?
Really, he's the son of Gaynell Taylor and the stepson of Joseph Taylor.
Where were you born?
He is the father of your mother, Tyra. And he is the father of your aunt, Farron, and your uncle, Jim Taylor Jr., otherwise known as JT. I was born right here in Chicago, at the Cook County Hospital, 56 years ago, November 27th, 1936. That makes me a Sagittarian.
Who are your siblings?
My siblings, I had this one sibling, Bree, that's Michelle Taylor. She was born when I was 18 years old. So I was kind of like a second father or an uncle to her. Yes. Are you paying attention, Bree? Anyway, she was just a wonderful child. A very beautiful child. She's a very beautiful young lady now. She's away in Divinity School. Yes. In Princeton, New Jersey. Had a wonderful time.
Where did you live as a child and what was it like?
Let me tell you something about the reason I say that I was like a second father to her, Bree. Because I remember when she was having quite a time, she wanted to move out of the house. She was old enough. She was in her 20s. And of course, my mother and father did not want her to move. A girl did not move out of the house until she got married. It was unthinkable that, I was at the house even after I got married.
But weren't men, anybody wasn't supposed to move out of the house till they got married?
No, a female especially. And so Michelle decided to move. She enlisted my aid, and I snuck over there one night and moved all of her furniture to her new apartment. And to this very day, Bree. And today is April the 10th, 1993, and that was years ago. They still don't know about it.
They still don't?
They still don't know that I sneaked over and helped Michelle. Right.
How do they think she moved?
I have no idea. On her own, I guess. Yeah. So, let's see how possessive your parents are when you get to be 22 or 23 years old. No? It is. Anyway, I was born in Chicago. My mother, Gaynell Taylor, married my, I won't say stepfather, I'll say my father, for these purposes when I was 2 years old. And we lived in Ida B. Wells, which is public housing located down on 39th Street. And shortly after that, when I was 9 or 10, we moved to an area called Preston Park on the south side of Chicago. I went to Doolittle Elementary School. Then I went to Oakland Elementary School.
What kind of student were you?
I went to Holy Angels Catholic School for about 2 weeks and found the discipline just a little rigid. So after I left Holy Angels, then I went back to Oakland Elementary School. Then when I moved, I went to Gillespie Elementary School. I went to Calumet High School. Then I went to Central State College, where I graduated with a bachelor's degree in physical education. Then I went to Northeastern Illinois University, where I graduated with a master's degree in inner city studies. Yes, Bree, I guess that makes me an expert on African Americans from the cradle to the grave. Yes. You've never seen an expert on African Americans. He won't use that other word sometimes. But you probably be right.
So you already told us what your career was. How did you like it? And do you have any other comment on your career?
I'd just like to mention my athletic career. I played football and swam at Calumet High School. I went to Central State College on a swimming scholarship, where I swam. And Central. When I graduated, I went to work for a program called the YMCA Detached Workers Program, and I taught school. The Detached Workers Program worked with street gangs. They are trying to keep young men from harming each other and from getting into trouble with the law. And then finally in 1971, I went to the Chicago Urban League. And I've had a 22-year career with the Chicago Urban League so far. Well, we'll take a break right here, Green, while you are having a baby. On July 10th, 1960, I married Nora Taylor. Well, at the time, she was Nora Matthews. I met Nora at the beach where I was a lifeguard. I mentioned that I was a swimmer, and every summer I worked as a lifeguard. And one day I was on the beach, and I saw this beautiful young lady coming down the beach with a friend of mine. And the young lady's name was Sandra Barnes. And Sandra introduced me to Honora. Shortly after that, Honora had a party at her aunt's house and invited me to the party. And strangely enough, I thought I never had a chance with this beautiful lady. And lo and behold, at the conclusion of the party, she asked me to take her home. She lived out in Harvey, Illinois, and I had a little raggedy car. And so I said, by all means, I would be glad to, my dear. And we were driving out to her house. And in the process of talking with me, she leaned over and lightly laid her hand on my knee. And that's when I began to think, well, perhaps there's a future here. So that was the beginning of our, up to this point, 32-year marriage. And from that marriage, James and Honora beget Farah, Tyra, and James Jr.
Looking back on your life, would you change it? Or would you?
Well, of course, looking back on my life, I would change some things. I could see where I could have been far more astute in financial matters. My desire would be to be far richer than I am. I believe that a millionaire, for instance, is able to choose a certain lifestyle as opposed to being dictated to by life. And it would be my desire and my intent to choose a lifestyle which would include increased travel, a larger boat, and some of the luxuries of life. You'll note, Brianna, that I have moved to another location. I could not go through an entire soliloquy of this nature without delivering at least part of it from my favorite chair in all the house. And this is it. Sometimes I actually sleep here all night. But that being what it is, let us continue with our story. Now, this is our house at 9401 South Forest. We've lived here since 1978. When Honora and I were first married, we lived in her house in Harvey, Illinois, for maybe 2 or 3 months. And at that point, I kind of missed the city. I'm a city guy, Brianna. I love the city. I love the buses and the parks and the museums and the zoos and the libraries. I love the people. Now, I detest the violence and some of the negative things that go on in the city. But I love the resources that the city offers. And I even love the noises of the city. The lakefront is one of my favorite places, though, as you can well imagine. I've swum in the lake, out to the water pumping station. As a young man, I jogged the beaches of Chicago, and I just generally enjoy everything positive that the city has to offer. So we lived out in Harvey for 2 or 3 months, and then my mother and father lived in a two-flat building that had an English basement. The English basement was made into an apartment, and we lived there and paid rent to my parents. In about several years, my parents decided to build a home, and I bought that building from them, and we moved upstairs to the apartment that had been vacated by my parents. That building, that basement that we lived in, that basement apartment was where your mother and your Aunt Farah and Uncle Jim were born. They lived there a good part of their life. And then when we moved upstairs, they lived there with us. Then in 1978, I think we bought that building in 1971 and moved upstairs. In 1978, we moved to this house. So we've been here now for a good 14 years. And your mother and my mother spent their teenage years in this home. So, so we have been residents of the south side of Chicago for many